Croeso I MusicFest Aberystwyth Gosod dy Gydol. Welcome to our digital installation 2021 here at MusicFest Aberystwyth. My name is Nathan James Dearden, and I am the Associate Artistic Director here at the festival for their 2021 series. We are thrilled to have partnered with both Aberystwyth University and the Welsh Music Guild for a national call for two creatives to collaborate and create a digital installation just for you, inspired by the beauty and the landscape of Aberystwyth and the surrounding area. After a short application process and that national call, we found two superb creatives. We found Claire Victoria Roberts, who's currently based in Cardiff, and she is a musician, composer, and violinist. And we found Sally McLaughlin, who is a student here at Aberystwyth and is really inspired by the surrounding area here. They join me both today. We thought it'd be a fantastic idea before you hear this and see this digital installation to hear a little bit about them and a little bit about this process. So first of all, hi both, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I know it's quite warm here in Aberystwyth at the moment. Firstly, Claire, could you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your existing work and what inspires you?
Yeah, hello. I'm Claire and I compose and perform, as you said. So I play violin and I sing in a number of different styles, but mostly performing in jazz and swing styles and also folk music. So those things influence how I compose and write music as well. So the kind of repeated grooves and rhythms of jazz and folk music, and also the kind of rich tonal palette of jazz music tends to influence my work.
Oh, fab. And Sally, could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you as well?
Hi, I'm Sally. My practice is largely centered around like site and location. But living where I've lived for the past few years, water is really important to me. And I consider the environmental implications of how water works and life in our time. I use a lot of found materials in my work. I repurpose them and sort of, being directly inspired from the landscape and what's around us.
Wow, amazing. And I can hear birds and seagulls in the background now, which many Aberystwyth audiences will be very familiar with. So Claire, could you just tell us a little bit about this collaboration and how did it all start?
Well, I guess from my perspective, I was thinking of sounds initially. I knew obviously I'd be doing the music elements, and we looked at each other's work and I was feeling really excited to work with Sally. But I was just coming at it from a point of view of thinking, what new sounds do I want to work with? And I sent Sally some ideas, which was thinking about having wine glasses used within the music, because it's a sound that I like and it might be a way to have audiences engage in the music because it's something very easy to do. And there was also some string effects that I wanted to create by layering myself. Obviously there's only one of me, and there's certain violin sounds I can create very quietly, but then if I record myself doing that 10 times, it can have the effect of a bigger kind of wash of sound. So those were the two ideas I had initially that I wanted to work with, and I was very lucky that Sally's quite a kind of energetic, inspiring person, so I just sent these voice notes like, I would like to use wine glasses and I would like to do this, and then Sally was able to think about how we can build on that as a concept and suggested, wine glasses and water and how that can link to sort of levels of water and levels of the sea. And the idea of this wash of string sound, I was sending, voice notes of me just kind of scraping away on my violin. And she was like, well, the idea of like ebb and flow and how that can relate to, the concept as well. So I was able to take away from our conversations lots of ideas to build on what, she had suggested as well. And to think about how I can create that in the music. And there's kind of ebb and flow within the smaller sections, so immediately you can hear in dynamic a sort of rise and fall, but then also throughout the larger scale of the piece, the actual ideas themselves kind of come in and fade out again. So that was kind of building on, as I said, the idea of ebb and flow that Sally had actually even looked at the dictionary definition of, so that we could have a nice clear concept of what we're trying to portray. And hopefully these ideas, as they ebb and flow and the sections themselves have a sense of rise and fall, it'll be a kind of watery atmosphere for the listeners combined with the images. And then one other thing was that it was a really positive experience to be involved. The festival is a positive thing coming out of what's been difficult times, hopefully, that we're coming towards the end of, and that working with a new person, getting to meet Sally, it was all very positive. And Sally had said for the music as well, if there could be kind of a positivity to it, because there is a lot of sad and negative things to do with our oceans and our seas, but that we are also, working on something which is positive. So taking that as well and applying it to the end of the music too.
Wow, I think that's so profound as well, that in such a short space of time, really, in a month, you've managed to get all that together. Like, wow, just can't believe, and I'm sure the listeners and our viewers can't wait either to see what you folks come up with. So Sally, Claire touched upon there, and also in your introduction, how passionate you are about landscape and your local landscape and how that affects your art, and the ideas that come from the gorgeous coastline and down by the promenade in Aberystwyth and Cardigan Bay. Could you tell us a little bit about what work you did then for this collaboration on the beach?
Yeah, so I mean, I was quite lucky. A lot of it for me was going out and doing field work and getting to be inspired by being down on the beach. And so it was the tide line that I wanted to center a lot of this around, because we live by the coast. The tide line has a big impact on the coast. So I was really concentrating on this ebb and flow of the tide, and how we could represent that in sound and visuals. So the first thing I was doing was going and just collecting found materials from the beach and from the site and seeing how they inspired me and where they would take the process. And that was quite exciting, because I began making, I followed quite a few processes for this film, actually. I made some cyanotypes, which are basically like sunlight photos where you can lay seaweed and rocks and stuff, and the sun prints it for you. And I included those in the film. I also gathered some objects from the high tide line and the low tide line and made some film strips out of them. And I also was just thinking about how the tide impacts us and how we could convey that through film and music. I just wanted to experiment with process really a lot for this film, but being able to draw in so many different photographic processes was really inspiring, actually.
Wow, and so it's amazing that something so beautiful that people are obviously enjoying now in the summer sunshine is actually insanely fertile ground for art, that you've gone there and collected items, and then that's transcended into what we are now experiencing, this digital installation. It blows my mind. Hats off. I mean, Claire, in terms of, you touched upon it there about collaboration, is collaboration something that you do quite a lot as a musician, or how has this been different?
Yeah, definitely, and something that I personally have done a lot of. I think because I'm quite versatile in that I'm working different styles and compose and perform, that I've collaborated with people from other art forms in the past as well. But I think what's been different is usually they're a bit more musically specific. So in my previous work, I've worked with, for example, spoken word artists, or with librettists for creating opera scenes. And I've also worked collaborating with an audiobook, which is for a Christmas audiobook, Christmas Carol. So in those situations, it's more like the music's doing a specific job, and it's there to work with the other person's thing in a slightly different way. Like the music needing to kind of, I don't know, for the audiobook be suitable for children to listen to and convey the character, or working with the librettist, making sure that the music fits the words, things like that. Whereas obviously Sally could have turned around and said, I hate everything you've done, start again. But it, but from the starting point, it was more, there was a bit more freedom for me to interpret these abstract ideas myself, as opposed to creating a sort of product or something which fits with somebody else's words or text or whatever. So this was kind of like, I just was free to interpret something which is quite an open narrative and quite, you know, as I said, abstract ideas. So I had a lot of freedom musically to explore, which was really fun, and also a short space of time, which kind of kicks you into action a bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a composer and teaching composition at different institutions, I always say to my students how amazing it is to have limitations, because I absolutely love that. But every now and again, having that total freedom where you can have total artistic license can just be the most thrilling experience. So I'm super thrilled actually that this collaboration has been able to give that to you as well, especially when you've got all these other amazing and diverse commissions going on at the same time. I think before we listen and see and interact with your digital installation, I'd be interested for you to share just something that you think we as the listeners or engagers should look out for. So maybe Sally, did you want to give us something that we should be looking out for, or we should be interacting with the installation in a different way?
Okay, so we kind of tried to design a sort of participatory part of this installation, so you know people can get involved in a bit more of a hands-on way. So there's some wine glasses, and this is you're able to do this at home as well. And you can use any glass. It doesn't have to actually be a wine glass. Wine glasses are just more, they make a clearer sound. Yeah. And so the wine glasses are filled up with different levels of water, but the levels of water that we filled them up with is representative of the 10 highest tide heights in the past 30 years in this area. And we found those, or I found those from the National Tidal website. They're actually recorded in Barmouth, but it's not that far down the coast as the crow flies. But yeah, so that's 30 years of data, and then these are the 10 highest ones, and you know the wine glasses are filled up to that amount, converted into milliliters, and then there's a section in the film, and you'll see it when the screen turns blue. The screen turns blue, there's a circle, like an eye kind of wine glass, and then you can start playing the wine glass sounds. And Claire put some really beautiful, very well composed also wine glass sounds in there as well, so you'll have an audio cue too, just in case. But yeah,
amazing. That's amazing. I have plenty of wine glasses in my house as well, so I'll definitely give it a go at home as well. And Claire, is there something in terms of the music that you think that you've done differently or that we should listen out for as well, alongside those glass sounds?
I guess just as I was mentioning before, that the fact that the ideas kind of fade in and fade out, so maybe don't try and notice it too much, maybe just let it wash over you. There'll be the kind of dynamics and tempo, it's like it sort of rushes out and comes back in, but also that across the sort of 12, 13, 14 minutes, it will also be kind of this fading in and out of ideas.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, thank you so much both. This is such an amazing insight, and thank you for taking the time as well to chat to me and all of our viewers. I suppose all that it leaves me to say is goodbye gwnewch chi fwynhau. I really hope you enjoy, whether you're joining us at Aberystwyth Arts Centre or you are at the comfort of your own homes. I hope you enjoy this MusicFest Aberystwyth 2021 Ebb Flow digital installation. Diolch yn fawr.